What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at 5 players that could replace Fernandinho in the summer transfer window, if of course he does leave Manchester City with his contract being up in the summer. But before we crack on with this video, we're very close to 15,000 subscribers. We're less than 100 subscribers away. So if you haven't already, please do help to support the future of this channel by subscribing, pressing that red button, pressing the bell, and putting your push notifications on. I want to hit 15,000 subscribers ASAP. Don't forget also social media links in the description below and sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business enquiries. Leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy this video and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think should replace Fernandinho if he does leave Manchester City? Without further ado, let's crack on with this video, and the first player that we're going to look at is Douglas Luiz, the Brazilian 22-year-old defensive midfielder for Aston Villa. Having another good season for them in the Premier League. He's now got, a couple of seasons of Premier League football experience under his belt as well. He's still got a lot to learn in my opinion, but he's an affordable, easy option for Manchester City to get this transfer done. That is mainly because we do have a buyback option to sign him. That is believed to be this summer around 25 to 30 million pounds. That should be no problem, in my opinion, for Manchester City to bring him in. We shouldn't have any problems with work permits this time as well, which is the whole reason why Douglas Luiz did leave Manchester City on a permanent basis rather than on loan. In terms of realism, I'd say this is probably an 8 out of 10 realistic signing for Manchester City, and in my opinion it's a pretty solid signing and a 7 out of 10 from me, and certainly an option for Manchester City to consider in the summer if Fernandinho does leave. Now, the second player we're going to look at is Denis Zakaria, the Swiss 24-year-old defensive midfielder for Borussia Monchengladbach. Now, Manchester City are interested, but the interest has gone very quiet during this January transfer window. Yes, we're doing daily Manchester City transfer updates too, so make sure you do stay tuned for that. But the interest has gone very quiet. And I have my suspicions as to why this is, and this is all because Man City have drawn Borussia Mönchengladbach in the last 16 of the Champions League. What's happening here is Man City aren't going to make a move. They're not going to have any interest in Zakaria. They're just going to have a watch of Zakaria, and the best way for us to experience how good Zakaria is when we play them over 2 legs in the last 16 of the Champions League. There's nothing quite like playing a team to do some good quality scouting, and by that, what I mean, look at AS Monaco when we played them a few seasons back. We managed to have a good scouting of how good some of their players are, including Benjamin Mendy, Bernardo Silva, and Kylian Mbappe, who Manchester City were interested in all 3 of them players, and we ended up getting 2 out of 3. And the same could happen here with Zakaria. Manchester City have previously had this with Olympique Lyonnais when we've played them in the Champions League, and we have had a look at their players before, including Tanguy and Ndombele, who ended up going to Tottenham Hotspur, and also Houssem Aouar, who's still at Lyon, and Manchester City are still interested in him apparently as well. So I imagine City are reserving judgment on Denis Zakaria until we've played them to see just how good he is. Now, in terms of realism, I'd probably say this signing is once more like Douglas Luiz, a 7 out of 10. Not too sure on how much he is going to cost, so that's probably why he is only sitting at a 7 out of 10 in my opinion. But in terms of an actual good quality signing, I'd say across the board a pretty solid signing for Manchester City, and once more a 7 out of 10. So I would say that Douglas Luiz is a little bit more realistic due to that buyback clause, but Denis Zakaria a very good option for Manchester City to consider as well. Now, the third player, coincidentally, that we just mentioned, is Houssem Aouar, the French 22-year-old central midfielder from Olympique Lyonnais. Now, the one bonus that Houssem Aouar can offer Manchester City is that he can cover all areas of midfield, not just a defensive role, but also offensively and in a deeper role as well. He's pretty much a complete central midfielder. And I say that Manchester City may be interested to replace him, replace Fernandinho with him, and I say that because Manchester City could be looking in the summer to perhaps kill 2 birds with 1 stone, with 1 player here. With David Silva leaving Manchester City last summer, we haven't got a David Silva replacement brought in. We're giving more minutes to Phil Foden, and City will want to continue to do so. In my opinion, we do look a little bit short in central midfield. City could be looking to try and fill them gaps in. whilst also finding a player that can cover in defensive midfield as well. We do have Rodri, who of course will be Manchester City's main defensive midfielder. We do have İlkay Gündoğan that could sit there as well. And if we signed Houssem Aouar, he could be another option for Manchester City in defensive midfield. So there'd be 3 players that could all play there, and I'm sure Ciao could as well. And so the option with Houssem Aouar is that we could push him further forward, whereas Douglas Luiz and Denis Zakaria are more like-for-like replacements for Fernandinho. So it's all about what Manchester City want to do. But if we do want to go along that route of signing a midfielder that can cover more bases than just defensive midfield, then Houssem Aouar would be right up there as the player that I would like City to sign, apparently available for somewhere between 50 and 60 million euros. So could City end up making a move for him is the question. Still quite an affordable price that for Manchester City. In terms of realism, I'd probably say this is a 6 out of 10. Probably less likely than what Douglas Luiz and Denis Zakaria are. But in terms of being a solid signing, I think it's a solid 8 out of 10 signing, and certainly a player that I would like City to target. And going along with similar lines, looking at player number 4, is Ismael Bennacer, the 23-year-old Algerian central midfielder for AC Milan, who again, like Aouar, can cover just about all options in midfield, not just defensive midfield. He can play in the deeper role for Manchester City, and he can do the tackling role and everything, but can also play in other positions as well. Now, in my opinion, I would prefer Houssem Aouar just because City have played Lyon. I know that he can play at the top level, as Lyon have had some good seasons previously, obviously not last season, but in previous seasons, Lyon have shown their quality to compete in Ligue 1 and how well they did in the Champions League last year. And in my opinion, Aouar is a good option for Manchester City. But I'm not saying I wouldn't take Bennacer. I think if we couldn't get Aouar, then I would take Bennacer. That's as far as I am aware. But both of them players, in my opinion, are more along the style of İlkay Gündoğan rather than Fernandinho. So it's all about if Man City want to change it up. Ismael Bennacer, in terms of realism, I would probably say is just like Houssem Aouar at a 6 out of 10. In terms of being a solid player, I'd probably go with it being a 7 out of 10 for a solid signing. So, yeah. Now, moving on to the last player, moves us on to Manuel Locatelli. Just keep an eye on this one, because these rumours are not going away. He's the Italian 23-year-old defensive midfielder for Sassuolo. He's had some good seasons with Sassuolo, and he's been monitored by not just Manchester City, but Juventus as well. He's been described as having a similar style to Rodri, but likes tackling and likes slide tackling. So when I hear that, I think of either Nigel de Jong or Nicolas Otamendi. So, yeah, the latter there, being in an exposed position of centre-back, maybe didn't work too well for Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. Is that something City would look for? I'm really not sure. It is something different, so this signing would excite me. Apparently affordable as well for £30 million as well, and I certainly think he is definitely an option for Manchester City to consider this summer. Now, I've not seen Locatelli play, so I cannot comment on how good of a signing he would be for Manchester City. Going off what people have been saying about him being highly rated, I would be happy for him to come into Man City's squad and give him a chance and see what he can do. But judging off the price and what people are saying from him, I'm just going to put 6 out of 10 across the board because, I think it's decent. I'm not too sure if he's any better or any worse because I can't possibly comment. But for that price, certainly a realistic transfer there for Manchester City. But yeah, I'm going to stick to a 6 out of 10 across the board for Manuel Locatelli. I'm just not sure, if I'm completely honest. Now, just throwing a little curveball out there. I know it's 5 players that could replace Fernandinho, but another option for Man City is, well, Fernandinho. Give him a new 12-month contract extension and assess again next season. And I say that because Fernandinho has shown time and time again when he has started for Manchester City, he hasn't put a foot wrong, and he's still showing that he is an extremely good player who can definitely do a job for Manchester City, I'm certain, for at least another 12 months. And so if the problem isn't there to be fixed, why fix it? We could just give him a contract extension and focus on other areas of the pitch that may need a little bit more attention, such as the striker role, obviously, possibly another attacker out wide, a left back as well. So, yeah, If City are wanting a good, solid, short-term option, just give Fernandinho another 12 months. I'd love to know what you think of them and these potential defensive midfielders signing for Manchester City in the comments below. Don't forget also to subscribe, press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. Aiming for 15,000 subscribers. We haven't got enough news to be doing a transfer update for today. We will have enough news, I'm sure, by tomorrow. So we'll be back again tomorrow for daily Manchester City transfer updates, so do stay tuned for that. Don't forget also to check out my social media links. They're in the description below, sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget, leave your thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And we'll be back again tomorrow for another Manchester City transfer update. Or we'll be back again this evening for the live watch-along game of Manchester City taking on Crystal Palace. So I'll either see you tomorrow or later on tonight for that game. So I've been JSGC. I hope everyone is having a fantastic weekend. I hope everyone is safe and well. Thank you for watching. Peace. Ciao for now.